Okay. I really enjoy doing live video. I should do more of this. Well, for everyone in the US, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I know I did. Spent it with some family, had some amazing food, and I survived, as I hope all of you did too. It's Black Friday. I have an announcement to make, and you're probably watching this because of the title, the 3 biggest problems with NLP trainings and how to overcome all of them in one simple solution. How this came about was I was looking at my analytics on my YouTube channel and noticing that my most popular videos, the ones that people are actually currently watching, say like in the past 3 months, have to do with videos, or rather it has to do with techniques. People seem to really want to learn NLP techniques, and I understand why, because if you're seeking out NLP techniques and you're seeking out NLP technology, it's because you probably have a very specific problem you want to solve. You probably have very specific goals that you want to accomplish. And so it's normal to kind of bypass getting into the full-on NLP training and go seek a technique or two to get that edge, to get you ahead. The problem is that it's very difficult to just learn one NLP technique and do that, because with NLP techniques comes a skill set and an understanding of NLP. And that takes some time and some training, some learning. And it's like this, you can learn in martial arts, you can learn how to do one punch or one kick effectively. And it will help you. And you will be able to, if you get into a fight or if you're in competition, you'll be able to use that particular one. But chances are, in a real fight, and just like in real life, things get thrown at you that you're not expecting. And that one technique may work in a particular context, but they're not going to work in every context, or they're not going to be suitable for every single situation. And so people encounter these, they encounter resistance, they encounter things they didn't expect when they're trying to use an NLP technique, and it often doesn't work. Now, this doesn't just happen for people who are seeking out NLP techniques on YouTube or on Facebook. I know plenty of people who go to NLP trainings who are looking for the same thing, and unfortunately, they can't make NLP techniques work either because they lack certain understandings or they're not practicing. But the biggest one is they're not really applying it to their own life. It's something they're trying to sort of do to their life, or do to themselves, or do to other people. So I'm realizing there's this problem. Most people are wanting NLP techniques, but most people are not using them effectively. So the more I dove into this, the more I started to figure out, well, what had I done and what had other people done who I know who have gotten really good at NLP and they use it very effectively in their lives. And so if you were expecting me to get into the solution and unpack this whole thing right here in this video, I apologize if that's going to disappoint you. But what I am offering, if you look in the description of right under the title of this video, is a webinar that I just completed. It's not one of those webinars where you sign up and then you have to wait for when it's actually broadcast. You can sign up for it. The webinar itself is called The 3 Problems with NLP Trainings and How to Overcome Them in One Solution. The webinar is free. Hey, it's Black Friday. Why not? This is going to be one of the best Black Friday deals you get today. So sign up for the webinar. You get immediate access, and it's about an hour long. Get a pen, get a notepad, maybe a cup of coffee. I got mine. And take some notes. And I think you'll have a clear understanding at the end of it of what it takes to really use NLP effectively. And the great thing is that I'm not going to sit here and say that it takes years and years of training and practicing to become an NLP master in order to make things work. That's actually not true either. I was happy to really explore that and realize, I can show people a lot without having to teach them a full-on training, and they can use NLP effectively without having to jump through some of the hoops that I had to. So check out the webinar. At the end, there will be an offer, a very, very special offer that I'm only offering for the next 2 weeks. So before you watch the webinar, if you're totally offended by me making an offer for something, some people are, I'm warning you now. At the end of the webinar, I do make an offer. So if that offends you, might not want to, don't check out the webinar. But just the webinar alone does give you some really good free information that you can take away and use, even if you don't take me up on the offer. The offer that is there, I'm not going to get into it here again. It's all there. But it is something very special, something that you can lock in. Well, I'm not going to say that too much more. But anyway, it's only available for the next 2 weeks. And it's only available to the first 100 people who pick me up on it. And the reason for that is I got tired of hearing people tell me that time and money is the reason they're not living the lives that they want to be living. And I thought to myself, how do I help people overcome that? Because it is, there's a lot of truth to it. Time and money are the two most precious things, two most precious resources, let me put it that way. And we only have so much of it, right? So understanding that and understanding what is holding people back a lot of times based on what resources are not available to them, what are they not understanding, and how can I then help people have those understandings and give them those resources so that they have everything they need. And I was really intent on making sure that time and money would not be a limitation here. So the offer that I'm offering at the end of the webinar is something everybody can afford, and it's something that everybody has time for. If you think about it, how much time are you actually spending on your personal development, and personal development with the direct intention of creating the life that you desire, the life that you want to be living, the life that's going to make you happy, the life that's going to get you excited every time you wake up in the morning to think, okay, yeah, this is the life that I'm living. Now, I can honestly say that is the life that I'm living now, and it was not always that way. In fact, for a long time, I was very unhappy and quite miserable, and that's why I got into NLP to begin with, and it just so happened I really loved it, and then I took off with it. But every morning that I wake up, I am excited about life and whatever comes my way and the projects that I'm working on. And first I was like, okay, is this going to last? And it's a few years later, I'm still here. So, and so what my point about that is that everybody can do this. If I can do it, believe me, everybody can do this. And then especially when you think about what is success, excuse me, what is success and happiness defined on your terms, not by anybody else. And I think a lot of people miss that as well. They look at these YouTube videos of people who are quite successful, and they're driving nice cars, or not even just nice cars, $500,000 cars, and living in these $500,000 mansions, and people get confused and they think, well, that's what I need to have in order to be successful, to feel happy and fulfilled. Nothing could be further than the truth, but we get sold on that. And I did a video called Your Success is Closer Than You Think. And it was because I was watching those videos, I happened to come across some of them, or people who are very successful. And by the way, I don't think there's anything wrong with owning $500,000 sports cars and owning multi-million-dollar mansions. Absolutely nothing wrong with any of that. That's fine. But what I am saying is, don't let that define what success is for you, because you can be happy with well before and feel successful well before you get to that level. So I was watching those videos, and I happened to be sitting on my balcony in the place that I had rented in Hanoi, Vietnam. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, yeah, you just feel it. Like you just kind of, you make that acknowledgement that I actually am literally living my dream. I'm living my dreams. And it had been before that, and I still am, but it was, sometimes we just have those moments, and it was just an incredible moment. I just felt that. And then I'm also looking at these videos where these people are like trying to portray that, this is what success is. And I was like, well, I'm not sitting in a Rolls Royce, and I'm not sitting in a, multi-million-dollar mansion. And I feel more successful than I've ever felt in my life. And I feel happier than I've ever felt in my life. It's like, I don't need all that stuff. And again, nothing wrong with all that stuff. I just happen to put my focus, my attention, my money into other things. And I would encourage you to figure out what that is and do that for yourself. So as usual, this live video is lasting a lot longer than I expected. I think I just like going live. But anyway, the webinar is in the description right here below, and I'll probably even put it on a comment, kind of comment to the top. But just check out the webinar. Like I said, it's free, so you're not going to risk anything. Some good, useful information, even if you don't take me up on the offer. And actually, what I put in the webinar is something or tips that you can apply to almost anything. If you think about anything that you're trying to get good at, or anything that you're incorporating into your life to better your life, it's all applicable. So it's not just, you only use this stuff for NLP. It's anything that you want to improve on. And I say this in the webinar, I'll go ahead and say this here, is think of your life as a practice. When I started thinking of my life as a practice, everything changed. And what I mean by practice, as like a doctor has a medical practice, a lawyer has a legal practice. Every one of you has a life. So your life is your practice. And practice meaning you're always improving it. You're always learning more about yourself. You're always learning more about other people and how we function and how we create happiness and how we create the lives that we desire. So turn your life into a practice. And what's also great about that too is it also means you don't always have to get it right. And you can try stuff and you can fail and you just keep going because it's a practice. It's not life not being a destination, that it is a journey. So you're making it happen here. Looks like I've got some questions. There's a lot of background airy sound when you speak right now. That's actually my computer doing that. It's breathing really heavy, I guess I was going to say, because for some reason when I go live, it stresses it a bit. So I apologize for that. That's why I wanted to use this much nicer microphone to hopefully pick up my voice only, but apparently that's not happening. Okay, how can you program the subconscious? What is the best method? Subliminal recordings or hypnosis? I'm glad you asked. You should really watch the webinar. The offer that I give actually introduces that. So both are good. Hypnosis are recorded. Subliminal recordings, both are good. So part of the offer, I wasn't supposed to get into this, but part of the offer is receiving a monthly a monthly hypnotic induction that you can just download to your phone or your computer and listen to every single month. So I think some people rely too heavily on hypnosis and too heavily on hypnotic inductions. It's one half of the mind, put it that way. There's the conscious mind and there's the unconscious mind. Actually, the unconscious is probably more than half of the mind, but I also like to get off the idea of like programming it, because there's more to it than that. But anyway, when you're doing something, when you're hopefully you have a vision for your life, and if you don't, this program will help you with that too. If you have a vision for your life, you want to be working on this on both levels, both the conscious level and the unconscious level. The great thing about the unconscious is it can work for you even while you're sleeping or driving a car or doing something completely different. So you don't always have to be consciously focused on your goals and creating success. Your unconscious can be working on it while you have to tend to other things. You might be tending to a job or your kids or something like that. You don't always want to be, in business in your mind. You want to enjoy your life and do other things as well. And that's why what I'm really trying to help people with now is not being so specific or compartmentalized. Life, to me, and well-being, and it's really about integrating all the parts of you, but it's also about integrating all the elements of your life. Like, I don't think of my work as so separate from my personal life. My goal is to completely integrate the two. I don't like putting all these, like, well, this is this and this is that. Compartments, contextualizing, putting boundaries or labels are only as important as being able to point out different parts of your life to be useful for you. But like, I don't think like I'm ever off. Like, I love my work so much that I'm always on. And that's because I've integrated what I do into my life. So think about unconscious and conscious as an integration rather than them being so separate. Anything that's unconscious, you can bring into consciousness, and anything in consciousness, you can allow to drop into unconsciousness. So think more integration, and especially when it comes to you and your well-being, because you will be a much happier person the more you integrate your parts, the parts of you. You have this feeling sometimes of like, well, I want this, but I want this, and they seem to oppose each other. There's a solution for that, and that solution is integration, and that's what you want to aim at, because it will always, you will always feel good when you integrate, even if it's, even if you're integrating two things that seem to be painful. Usually the solution for that is integration. All right, let's see what else we have here. Sometimes my mind goes out of control and imagines, for example, feet pressing on the ground, and somehow thinks that this is a dangerous and causing me pain. This thing is driving me crazy. Okay. And whenever I try to continue what I'm doing, whether it's studying or something else, tension in my body increases. What should I do? This thing is hindering my life and is making me in a bad mood most of the time. I know I might sound crazy, but this is okay. Well, I can't tell you exactly what's going on. I would need more information, but it sounds to me like you probably have something that you're not dealing with, that you've suppressed and is buried in your unconscious because you're not able to know what it is, or you can't articulate it, but you're feeling it. So something's going on. I'm not going to have like a really quick solution for you on that. I would seek out a therapist or a coach, and the best that I can tell you right now is just ask the part of you that's doing that, what is its positive intent for you? And your conscious mind will likely try to jump in there and answer it, because that's what the conscious mind does. It fills gaps, it fills voids. Go ahead and let the conscious mind have its say, but meditate on this. And what I mean by it is just sit there and sit with the question, asking that part of you that's doing that, what is its positive intent? Assume positive intent. It's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to deliver a message that will help you. And it's likely trying to integrate or reintegrate. Is probably a older part of yourself. You probably made some sort of agreement with yourself at some point, and it's unconscious, so it can't integrate. So just ask it and sit with that question until you get an answer, and you will get an answer. It sounds like it's trying to make itself known to you. So listen for that answer. Okay, as usual, like I said, I often stay on live way too long. Check out that webinar. Like I said, the offer that at the end of the webinar will be good for the next 2 weeks, and then it is closing, and I will never be offering that again. So please take advantage of that. I thought about, hey, looking at how can I make a great Black Friday deal, and that's what I came up with. So I hope to see more of all of you in the future real soon here. So I'm going to sign off. Check out that webinar, and feel free to give me feedback on it. All right, so happy Black Friday, everybody. I will be in touch. Take care.